Welcome to Transformation Decoded, and today we're going to go inside our mastermind and talk about the benefits. Hi, I'm Jackie Ulmer, one of the co-founders of Transformation Decoded, and I'm thrilled, along with my partners, Lee and Isabel, to be bringing you a discussion about masterminding, taking a look at the inside of a mastermind and talking about the benefits, because we've made reference to it a number of times. That's how the three of us came together. That's how we've launched Transformation Decoded. And for me personally, let me just say it's been an extremely successful and so many benefits to our mastermind. And so we're going to get into that. So what I wanted to do first is just kind of share my experience of the story of how our mastermind came together. And then I'm going to let Isabel and Lee weigh in on that as well. It'll be interesting to see how our stories kind of line up. So gosh, I guess it's been probably about 2.5 years ago, I think it was 2018, somewhere in there, that we, the three of us, along with some other people, joined a coaching program, came together. I had met Isabel a few times at a networking event. I had never met Lee. I had met a couple of the other women who participated in this coaching program a couple of times, but I didn't know anybody particularly well. And it was just the perfect opportunity for me. I was looking for some type of coaching. I was looking for some accountability, a group to work together with, and to spend a year really moving my business forward, helping me get out of some stuckness that I was in and move my business forward. And as happens very often with these type of coaching programs, don't let that be you. People join and sign up, and then slowly but surely they move on to other things. They lose their interest, they lose their motivation. And pretty soon, I believe we went from 8 or 9 down to basically the three of us. And so we bonded together and started coming together every once a week to kind of brainstorm, set up accountability, and check in on each other and see how we were doing. And after that coaching program ended, we were having so much fun, so much success, and really had built such a tight bond and such a strong business communication and business strategizing platform that we kept with it, and all kinds of great things have come out of it. So that's my recollection and my memory of it. Isabel, introduce yourself, please, and then weigh in a little bit on what you remember.
I am the Encore Catalyst, the CEO of Transformation, and it's exactly as you recall it, Jackie, in my mind as well. We came together because individually, or at least speaking for myself, I was looking for a coaching program that had some different elements for where I was in my own personal and professional development. And I really admired the leader and thought she was the right person to manage me, shall we say, which is always, something to think about when you're looking for a coach or joining a group. And over the process of, or the timeline of just a little under a year, you're right, we figured out who was really in for the long haul, who was ready, and, with respect to some of the members who dropped away, they had other distractions or other needs at the time and didn't follow through. But I have been a mastermind recipient, beneficiary, and promoter for decades and decades. And I'll share a little more about later why I learned that was so important for me, and how that the results I got from choosing the right masterminds. And I have some comments on when you know you're not in the right group.
Wow, can't wait for that. All
Mm.
right, Miss Lee, share your memories.
Yeah, I mean, I think you both pretty much, nailed it. And actually, the coach that we talked about, I was working with her on an
Oh,
individual
that's right.
perspective. And so
Mhm.
when she talked to me about this, opportunity to come with other like-minded women and be able to kind of expand. And we did lots of great work together one-on-one, but that was really appealing to me because it was something that would give me, I guess, some more camaraderie and ability to kind of expand those conversations that we were having one-on-one. And yeah, same thing, Isabel and I have known we knew each other quite well.
Yep.
And then had one other member that I knew quite well. But Jackie, I had heard your name, but I don't even think we had actually even physically
Oh,
been maybe in the same room together at that
Nope,
point,
we had
and a
not.
couple of the other people. And so that was really, and like you said, we just three like, hey, we're still here. You want to keep doing this? So, and I think
mhm.
it also will be fun to talk about how our little triad, because I think that's what we called it in the beginning,
Yep.
wasn't it?
The
Something?
triad.
Yeah, yeah. So, because we've changed a lot in the time that we've been doing it on our own. So that's kind of fun too to think about.
True.
It is. And I know for me, one of the most appealing things is that we were all local. So we were all in the Phoenix, Tucson area. So we met bi-monthly in person and then by Zoom the opposite months. But I just love the ability to come together face to face because I've been a part of several other masterminds and honestly have never gotten anything close to the value out of them that I've gotten out of this one, and certainly haven't stayed in for the long haul, which I can see this going forever, to some extent, because there is so much value in it, so much value in it.
Yeah.
So I know for me, the accountability piece was one of the biggest things I was looking for, because I'm one of those people, I've talked about being a three, I'm a performer achiever. And so I'm very task oriented. And if you tell me what to do and where to be, or I tell you what I'm going to do and where to be, and I have to show up and be accountable, that's going to get my butt in gear, because I never want to be the weak link in anything to where it's like
Mm.
week after week, it's kind of like, oh, well, I got busy. I binge watched Netflix, whatever it was. I knew that accountability was going to be pivotal for me. So the accountability was important to me. Lee, where did accountability play into that for you, and how's that been?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important, and especially being, for me at that time, I was still kind of shedding my corporate skin where, I mean, accountability laden, they just shower you in it, right? I mean, and there's always somebody making sure that, believe me, if it's 5 minutes off, someone's going to let you know, right? So accountability was just built into that model. And then all of a sudden I step out of that and I'm in my home office and going, shit, I could do absolutely nothing and nobody's calling or emailing me. And so that's originally why I even went into the coaching situation, was just to get back that, I guess, that focus on accountability and how do I do that in the different models. So it was a huge reason for me to go in, and not peer pressure, but there is that element of like, hey, if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I know that about myself. And so that kind of puts me on marker, right? Like, hey, I said I was going to do that. And even if it doesn't directly impact you, because we had all of our own businesses, there's just something about looking somebody in the eye and saying, I'm going to do this. That kind of makes me make sure that I do it. Well, and Jackie, we just had that conversation this morning. You said, hey, I need some account. And we just set up accountability, said, okay, I'm doing it this day, you're doing it that day. We committed. So, I mean, to this day, it's important.
Yeah. So Lee, what would you say was the number one driving thing for you that brought you into the coaching program?
The mastermind one, or the
Not ours. Yeah. The original one that we joined.
yeah, for me it was to be, and I remember even why I selected the person that I selected. Her name's Deborah Debris, and I think she's fantastic, and I love her. Uh, I was struggling with my business. I mean, I was trying to get it off the ground. I had a brick and mortar shop. I was trying to get through, and actually, um, Deborah gave me some really direct, unsolicited, but direct and genuine and heartfelt feedback on something that she had seen me do in my work capacity. And I took it as, and this was at a brunch. Isabel, you were there. It was like a ladies' brunch. It was just a fun thing. And I remember thinking, wow, like, first of all, I appreciated that she made herself uncomfortable to give me that feedback. And she did it in such a great way. And I just went home and I knew she did that. And there was just something in me saying, I need help. Like, I can kid myself here and pretend like I got this, I can pull my, or I could ask for some help and really, probably do it better. And I know do it easier than trying to, figure it all out on my own. So it was the next day that I reached out to Deborah and just said, hey, I appreciated that feedback. Can we talk about making something formal?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Isabel, talk about the accountability piece, and then I'd love to hear what was your driving factor to join that coaching program.
The accountability piece to me is peer pressure in the most positive way. This is the really good peer pressure. It's where the mean girls have your back, have your best interest at heart. Um, they're not really mean, they're just honest. And so that's when I know that the recipe is right for a group, that you care enough about the success of the other individual, as you said, Lee, about your experience with Deborah. You care enough to be a little uncomfortable in saying something that may be perceived as critical, even though in the best of sense. So I think peer pressure is extremely important to me in that I don't want to let somebody else down. I want to show up and bring my best game to the group, and I want to have my guard down, my be wide open to receive advice and perspective. And that's why I joined a group, and that's why I continue to join a group, because I know I can't possibly know everything, and I can't have an unemotional, detached experience from that perspective or opinion on something. Um, I think even with our small group of three, we're, I'm gonna guess, like 125, 150 years of collective uh, business working, growing up and being an adult experience, and we bring that all together. And when we are an open, committed group, then wow, look at that is at your disposal if you choose to accept it, to use it, and act on it. And I'd be just be devastated if I felt I was letting either one of you down because I didn't follow through and give my best heartfelt advice and opinion.
And what were you most looking for when you joined the coaching program?
In that circumstance, I was looking specifically to grow in some different ways in terms of my personal development. It wasn't my professional development in terms of running a business or anything. In fact, I had been leading a group for, at that time, 5, almost 6 years, actually three groups in Arizona, where I was advising other women business owners. So I was looking for something that was for me, about me, and that I could not have to be always together on perfect knowing it all, that I could allow myself to be a hot mess in front of a group that I trusted implicitly and receive the feedback.
Very good. Now, kind of shifting to our mastermind,
Mhm.
which has been going for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look at the exact date. I don't remember, but I may not have the exact date, but I can find it close because, I keep all my day timers.
Yes.
For me, one of the greatest, I don't know, I've heard something along these lines. I didn't get my facts totally straight to say this, but it's something about, 1 + 1 + 1 or 1 × 1 × 1 equals so much more than 3 when you come together like we have. And I know for me, the collective ideas that I've gotten where I can come in with a thought, an idea, something loosely woven together and put it out there. And by the time our call is over, I've got so many more ideas, and I may have even gone off in a different direction because, something one of you shared opened up a whole other range for me. And that's been amazing. So Isabel, talk a little bit about, the concept of collective ideas and coming and the group share and what that creates in a mastermind.
Absolutely. And this is so natural for me to talk about this because I'm known as the catalyst. And I was before I came into this life that I'm living here in Arizona now, and now I'm as the Encore Catalyst. This is what I'm about, is being part of the process, part of the effect to make something else bigger without taking away from myself. And so being in a mastermind group, the right group, enables me to contribute without diminishing or reducing what I have, and enables where it's right, where it's a fit, is that my catalyst will accelerate the growth or the development or advancement of my partners. And you're right, it's like there's this, like, I don't know, atomic reaction almost that's happening in the group where one may ask a question or bring up something for discussion, and that leads to a reaction which then impacts another one in the group to go, oh my God. And that is how that would impact my business or my personal life. And I love this, that we have this sustained energy that is going around with us. No one is depleted. We're always recharging each other, so to speak.
I love that. Yes. Lee?
I think I'm trying to, it's first of all, I'm just a little taken back that it's been 2 years. I'll be honest. That's just, I'm like, wow, that just flew by.
Yep.
And I think for me, and I'm actually in another mastermind group right now too. And it's funny because equally as valuable, but I'm thinking about the contrast between the two groups. And one's 4 of us and this one's 3 of us. So they're small. And that other one started very much as well, an offshoot of a bigger program that we all were in. And there was some connection between the 4 of us, and we kind of did the same thing, and we structure it differently. But I think the common thing about there for me is connection. I mean, just being able to connect, and whether it's on, a business topic or issue, or like, oh my God, I'm utterly out of energy, or, something crappy happens in our lives. And, you guys know, my dog died in May, and that threw me for a loop, and I could come to you guys and be like, it's just, so for me, it's having those connection points where there's no putting on airs. We all want to be the best for each other, but it's like the best real. And the best means that sometimes we have really hard days, and we can have those hard days or weeks with each other. And so that's probably where I get my go. And then I will say, Jackie, sometimes I do think you get the total short end of the stick, because people should know that Isabel and I are technically challenged people, and Jackie's like, whiz bang, SEO, here's how you do this, social media marketing. And we're like, huh? How do you open Facebook? No, I'm just kidding. But so sometimes I'm always like, oh, Jackie got the short end of this mastermind group.
Not at all. Never. In fact, it's funny. And you two know this just from the whole first, retreat weekend that we spent and everything. the best gift for me, this was not, I wasn't going to go here now, but it just fits right into it. Truly the greatest gift for me, beyond, of course, our friendship and all that goes without saying, which I'll come back around to that. But in terms of the mastermind piece of it, when I came into it, I was like, all business. Yeah, I want to have friendships. I want to have fun. I want to do all that, but I'm not getting emotional. I'm not going there. I got no story. I got no this. I got no that. I'm here for the business. I want to focus on that. And just, from the very first retreat, when Lee, I had just met you and learned so much about your backstory and so much of that, and Isabel, yours too, and several of the other people, where I just saw and experienced the raw vulnerability and sharing, and realize, oh my gosh, we all have stuff. It's like both of you said, to come into a place where you don't have to have it all put together. You don't have to always be on. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be up every single day. That really opened up a place for me to, on the one hand, go back into my closet and dig out some stuff that I really wasn't super excited about excavating. But on the other hand, stuff that really needed to be excavated, to where I could go back and look at things in my life and in my business and see why things are and were and have been the way that they are, and how I can fix that if I don't want that to continue moving forward. Because the reality of it is, life and business intersect. And if you think that you can really compartmentalize the two, especially as women, I think that's more challenging for us. But if you think you can really compartmentalize those and operate solely from a business perspective this way, and emotional and life this way, ultimately you're going to end up like me, with a big rug behind you with a bunch of crap buried underneath it that you'll have to excavate. So that for me has been such a joy, and a gift, and it's made me so much lighter in my life and in my business. So that's been truly a blessing, for sure. So thank you both for that.
Um, Adding to that, Jackie, I'm thinking about those of our listeners have been with us for a while. And they may know that you're also contributors to a book that I wrote a year ago and published. And additionally, in that book, which is called Who Am I Now? Feminine Wisdom Unmasked and Uncensored, another contributor, a woman I admire greatly and who I have been in a mastermind group with in Canada, her name Marg Hashi. She is famous for her Margisms. And one of Marg's sayings is, as women, we don't have a professional life and a personal life. We have one whole life. And so, to your point, if you're never going to get very far if you try to tell yourself that, oh, no, I'm only here as a businesswoman, or I'm only here as a living, breathing, heart-beating flesh woman. And because it's that beautiful combination and the result of both of those coming together in the whole life that makes us so valuable individually in our mastermind, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So
Lee,
be careful, don't trip over those bumps in the rug.
I'm getting rid of them all, man.
I know you are.
Slowly but surely pulling crap out and going, yeah, I'm with you.
I think there may be a few other people listening to us that are aware of the bumps in their rugs behind them.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's even and this comes with groups, right? I mean, it's part of that connection point. But the little inside jokes we get where we can, you can say something we know, like, or we'll say like, oh, is that going under the rug? Or are you going to talk about that?
Right.
So you get your own language, you get your own kind of those shared experiences, and you get your own humor that gets to go with that experience. That, I mean, you don't always get to be that, especially in a business setting. You're not going to go to your banker and go, let me tell you how messed up I am. No.
Right.
I know
Right.
I look like I got it together, but I'm a complete mess. No, I mean, so even with family and sometimes close friends as well, kind of to your point, that maybe if they don't have, there's something about trying to run your own business that has some uniqueness to it.
Right.
And so you just can kind of, it's this place where those worlds can come together. Ideally, I think that's what makes a good mastermind, right? Is
Yeah.
it allows those totality of your life to kind of come together and create a space to where you don't have to choose.
Yeah. But we've established our ground rules early on, right? And we've talked through any um, stickiness and kept forging ahead to get the maximum reward and enjoyment out of this. And I know that this is not something that a lot of people could imagine, but for 2+ years, every week, with exception of maybe 2 or 3 times a year because of holidays or travel, uh, it's like my day doesn't start on Monday. Like, get the heck out of my way. I got to get to my computer, my Zoom call. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Lee, did you have something?
No, no, no. I
Oh,
was just agreeing. Like, yeah, that's how I just look at starting my week, and it's like, nope, everything just works around that.
what would, and Lee, we'll start with you. What would your advice be to someone who's thinking, this sounds really great and this sounds like something I could use? What's your best advice for how to pick your tribe, how to pick that group, the size? Share some insights from your own background, especially being involved in two that you are now and perhaps others.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, kind of picking the right people, is there one, there's got to be some level of commitment. And like we said, life happens. And so, but you still want to get in it where I don't think you're going to have drastic changes. So I like kind of for the informal. So I'm going to talk about informal mastermind right now, because I think in terms of a more formal structured for a particular program would be different. So kind of this informal mastermind, I'd keep it smaller rather than bigger. And some of that's just logistics, so you can actually accommodate and find a time. It has to, be willing to prioritize it. And I think kind of know like, so you don't want carbon copies of yourself, or else you can just go talk to yourself. But I think you have to take some time to know that from a core value perspective, there's alignment, or I think you'll have a difficult time creating a safe space. And you ladies know that we've had some conversations where we've really like, whoa, and I know we're probably all thinking of the same one, and we don't even just say it. We're not like where we had really some challenging conversations, but
Mhm.
at the end of it, we could go, wait, let's get back into our, and go, oh, wow. And we discovered some things and we figured it out and we talked some things out. But
Yeah.
you have to be able to have that. But I think if your kind of underlying core values aren't aligned, that is difficult to do. And so I would say my two mastermind groups are very different. So also kind of know what you want. We support our businesses at everything in the other one, but I'll be honest, we're a little more soul oriented. We're more about how is our energy doing? How are we feeling? Where are we at? How are we evolving? And it's less about our actual business and more about that part of our life. Um, and although it's our businesses that got us together and they're part of it, it's just a little bit different focus. And that's where you may want to have more than one as
Yeah.
well. So I think, but again, that's only 4 people, same common values. We kind of chose each other out of this larger setting. And so it was very organic. I think in both cases, very organic. I wouldn't force it.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Isabel?
Well, Lee hit the number one point to me, and that's having common core values. Because only in that, um, you know, knowing that's the case, then I can trust to be vulnerable and to be, in full disclosure on things, and know that everything that I say will be held in confidence, and in my best interest will information be shared. And I've been in mastermind groups that are facilitated, so that there is an individual who is actually not a recipient of the benefit of the mastermind, but they are the referee. Maybe just keeping, people from going off on a tangent, or taking too much of the time, or looking for signs of abrasion in the group. And so I think that one is a different experience, where with us and in smaller groups, this commitment to uh, be fair with each other about the amount of give and take that's built into what we do, because we do truly want each other's maximum happiness and maximum success. Um, so I like that. And I like that we've come together from very different backgrounds and different experiences. And so that really enriches to me the wisdom of everything as well. And we also know how to have some fun, because, oh my gosh, like all this working on yourself all the time, like,
Exhausting.
right. To have fun is so very important to me, and it's interesting without it happening purposefully, but it seems like we kind of take turns being the one who's receiving a little more attention right now. And maybe it's not every week, but there's cycles that it shifts, and I love that. But no matter what's happening, I am learning from whatever it is you two are experiencing every moment. So it's like I got 3-for-1 experience for me coming out of this mastermind. So thank you.
Yeah, and I love that too, because we're all three of us are also involved in other coaching programs, other learning programs.
Yeah.
And while I love that our values are so closely aligned, in many ways our businesses are closely aligned, not identical, but enough overlap
Yeah.
that we're able to collectively share the knowledge that we're learning and insight that we got here. Hey, you might try this. All of that, and that's where the collective ideas that come together are just invaluable. You can't put a price tag on it. You really truly can. It's just awesome and amazing.
Yeah, and interesting, the other plus on this situation is, to some extent, we are each other's ideal client, or at least partially. So it provides an opportunity to do some testing and get some feedback before, we go to market.
Yes,
Hmm.
definitely.
Yeah.
Lee,
Yeah, and
any final thoughts?
oh yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I think one of the coolest things we do is one of us will have a tool or an idea. Oh, well, here's how I've done that. And we have morphed each other's tool sets or ideas or whatever. And,
Yeah.
and I love it. Jackie asked me the other day, you said, so I'm just wondering, like, why do you do everything in PowerPoint? And we just started talking about that. You're a word get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, we each have our own ways of doing things. And I was like, I just forget it. I grew up in PowerPoint. Like that's how we did everything in my corporate sphere. So it's just funny, but all of a sudden we can think differently, because even we could take the same information, but I'm going to put it together in a PowerPoint and send it to you, and you'll send a Word doc or whatever. So it's those little nuances where you get to go, oh yeah, I never thought that someone could approach this differently, right, than how I just did. So
Yeah.
those are some of my favorite moments when you were like, do everything in PowerPoint. I'm like,
That was interesting. And then Isabel uses Excel and I use Word. So, I mean, it's like, that is kind of funny how all three of us do something different.
Yeah.
Never
Yep.
had a discussion about it, but all of a sudden it just kind of showed itself. And it was like, wow, Isn't
Yeah, we
that
could take the
interesting?
same idea and meet a flush fluid. You'd get a PowerPoint. Isabel somehow could take the same thing that worked in PowerPoint and somehow get it into Excel.
Right.
And then you would have the beautiful Word document all laid
Yeah.
out and formatted. So,
But each one of us would have doodles on a napkin or in a journal.
That's true. Oh,
Yes,
where are my
yes. There's
doodles?
always little pictures and doodles, right? And
Yeah.
come up with several hashtags to go along with the
yeah,
concept or the situation. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It is a gift. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's what we have to share today. Hopefully, you've gotten some value out of this. Hopefully, you've got some ideas of how you might pick your tribe. I know for me, it was kind of serendipitous. I've spent a lot of time looking for the right tribe, and this one really fell in my lap. And sometimes I think that's the best way to have it happen, because you get what you need without seeking maybe what you would pick and don't need, if that makes any sense. Of course, I would pick the two of you, but it
Right.
was beautiful the way that it came together and presented itself. So hopefully you've gotten value out of that, maybe some ideas of of things you might bring into a mastermind that you're currently doing. And if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. We'd love to answer anything that we can and share anything that we can about what we do, how we've done it, and hear your ideas as well. Please visit us on Facebook. We're Transformation Decoded, our page over there. Subscribe and to our YouTube channel here and give us some feedback. We always love that. And if you have other women who need to be part of this tribe, part of Transformation Decoded, who are looking for some of the wisdom that we all collectively share, please invite them to watch this video as well. We would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Until
Thank you.
next time, see ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.